Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another video. We're going to be doing our weekly Forex analysis today like we normally do. This is going to be for June 23rd all the way up until June 28th. I have 5 pairs on my list this week that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try to spend maybe like 2 minutes each on each pair. And it's going to be really good this week simply because there's not that many news events. So a lot of the trading that's going to be happening is going to be a lot more technical focused rather than big news being released and seeing a big change in direction from a news event. So let's get into the charts and let's see what we got. All right, so first up on my list is Euro AUD. If you guys remember from last week, I perfectly called this trade that we could have made, right? It was right here. I called it. I showed you guys it in the charts. We would have wicked in basically perfectly on our entry. Easy 1 to 2 could have been made for you guys, and if you were holding out even longer, you could have made, potentially 1 to 4 or even a little bit more. But yeah, so that was last week. But this week we have another trade loading up for Euro AUD, and this is going to be another continuation of the downtrend that we've been seeing. On the weekly time frame, we could see that we broke many lows, especially the past week we broke below this low, and we have this daily area of interest that I have marked out here. From these lows and these tops right here, this top, this low, these lows, and then also this low as well. So we have a nice area of interest that's set up for us. We have our daily EMA approaching, but it likely won't. If it does retrace back up into this area of interest, the EMA won't really be close enough, kind of like how it did here, where it bounced off this area of interest, but the EMA wasn't really close to it. So that's not a bad thing, but it would have been nice to see the EMA come a little closer to it. But either way, we have our Fibonacci sequence set up here. We're going to hope for it to retrace back into our area of interest. We're going to wait for our lower time frame shift of structure. Hopefully see a nice rejection off of this. I believe it's supply. I always get confused between supply and demand. I don't really trade it supply and demand, but it's always nice to see when it like perfectly rejects. I believe it's supply, the supply zone. So that'd be pretty nice to see. And also on the 4 hour, we can see it also has many lows here as well. So we could see it, and we could see it hopefully reject the market structure that is being made. We do have the 4 hour EMA here. That is kind of nice to see as well. It is dipping a little lower than I would have liked it if it was kind of like closer to up here. As it retraces down and we could kind of meet it right in the middle at our area of interest, would have been really good. But either way, you have to just be patient, see what the market tells you before you place a trade. And yeah, we'll just wait for our lower time frame confluences before we continue to put in a bet here. This is going to be very similar to GBP AUD. We had another push downwards, similar to Euro AUD. Now we're just going to be waiting for something very similar. We have our Fibonacci sequence set up. We're waiting for a simple retracement back into our golden zone, right where it meets our area of interest. It looks like our daily EMA might reach to the area of interest by the time we get there. Definitely on the 4 hour, it'll look very clean on the 4 hour, so that's very nice to see. So yeah, I would definitely like to see a nice rejection, hopefully from the 0.5 zone or maybe the 0.618. We could see our lower time frame shift of structure, something like this, right? And then we can hop in somewhere like here. That's kind of what I'll be hoping for. Remember, we're not predicting the markets here. We're just analyzing on what it'll show us. So if that's what does happen, then we'll look into the trade. But we definitely going to see a lot of the lower time frames be shifting into bullish. And then we're going to have to wait for that to shift bearish again before we consider this a trade. I brought AUD JPY back on my list. It's been off my list for a little bit, even though I used to talk about it in previous weeks. I used to keep on telling you guys like it's great to have a JPY on your watch list almost every week because it's super bullish, which a lot of the JPY pairs are still very bullish. But the thing is, we are at like all-time highs, basically very close to all-time highs. So it does get a little bit more choppy when it comes to what people are trading because there's not much previous market structure to go off of and to really kind of have a good edge against the market. So we just have to be a little cautious here, but we could see it is a great break and retest kind of structure that we want to see here. We broke above our area of interest. We're coming back. We can retrace into our market structure. Hopefully retrace right back into our daily EMA as well. I didn't draw up a fib sequence here, but I can right now. So someone asked me this in the comments, how to draw a fib sequence, right? So what I do is basically you click the fib retracement tool. You go to the bottom wick of the same color push. So you can see that this candle right here, this is the lower wick of this huge bullish push. So if we're going bullish, then I'll place it up here on the bottom. And then right at the top, I'll just place it right where it stopped. And that's basically it, right? So you're tracking the whole movement from the bottom to the top. And then now we're just simply waiting for a retracement back into this zone here. Right, this is kind of like where my golden zone is. I do really love it when I see it go into the lower portion where the 0.5 and the 0.618 is. That's where I do have a lot more probability compared to the 0.382. And that's simply because if I do take a trade at the 0.382, my stop loss has to be a lot bigger. But if I'm placing an entry at the 0.5, we can see like how big of a difference it is, right? So let's say our take profit is up here. If we're placing a trade at 0.382, we have a 1.3 risk to reward ratio. But if I'm placing it at the 0.5, let's say, I'm basically at a 1 to 3. So it's more than like doubling my my risk to reward ratio. So that's why I love to see it when it retraces back even further into the 0.618 and 0.5 zone. But yeah, for AUD JPY, we're waiting for a simple retracement back into our market structure. On the lower time frame, we'll have to wait for the lower time frame shift of structure as well. We have lots of times here on the 4 hour. And yeah, what happens with the JPY pair sometimes is, if you notice, it's a slow and steady push upwards, right, consistently. But when it does retrace back, we could see like the red candlesticks are huge. They're very quick. The market likes to like go, do something slow like this, and then the red candlestick will be like this, and then it'll slowly trickle up again. So you just got to be a little careful when it does retrace, and don't be too eager to place an entry because it might just continue crashing. But yeah, JPY is still booming, so I'm definitely going to add this one back to my list and for my watch list this week. And next up we have AUD USD. This one is still a little interesting simply because we're kind of trading within consolidation here on the daily time frame. There's a lots of just up down movement, and you don't really want to be trading within something like that. But I do see a strong area of interest here. We have lots of tops being made that were well respected. And we also have a nice push here from our daily. Actually, it was a 4 hour, either 4 hour or the daily. It's pretty similar. If you have it on the daily, it'd be something like this. And we could see how it basically perfectly rejected the 0.5, 0.618 zone. And it's starting to push back upwards. So I am still waiting for a lower time frame shift of structure. I would like to see a clean 1 hour or even a clean 4 hour shift of structure as well, because kind of having this weird, I don't know if I have like the tool for it, but it's like this little upside down U, right? It's a little weird. I don't know if I like how that looks, because it's kind of like shifting a lot of momentum into the bearish direction. But essentially, I just want to see where my trading plan is lining up. So we need our lower time frame shift of structure. Definitely for this one, don't want to rush it. And as I said in previous videos as well, I almost mention it every single week, we have these pairs that are opposites that are adding extra confluence to our trades, right? So Euro AUD, all the AUD pairs that are the second, we're looking for shorts, right? So Euro AUD and GBP AUD, we're looking for shorts. And that goes really well when we're looking for longs on AUD JPY and AUD USD. So having those reverse pairs are confluencing each other, making it a little extra stronger in the trade. And then for my last pair this week, I have GBP CAD. GBP CAD looks very strong simply because we have a very nice weekly area of interest, which also matches up with our daily area of interest. I had this one on my list 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned how I think it was like right here. I said we were going to wait for a retracement back down into the area of interest before going long. And it did essentially that, but it didn't reach far enough where I was willing to place a trade. It only respected this like very narrow top. And that's just not enough for me, because if I placed, like I mentioned before, like if I place a long position there, my entry has to be so much farther away from my area of interest that I'd rather wait for a better opportunity if it does come down, to give me a better risk to reward ratio. But that doesn't mean opportunity is lost. So our daily is still looking pretty clean. Our daily is bearish, so I would love to see either a daily shift of structure or at least a 4-hour shift of structure before I even consider this a good trade. But yeah, if we do get the lower time frame shift of structures, we'll look for a lower time frame Fibonacci sequence as well, and those are definitely well respected, and then we'll place a long. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about. But yeah, hopefully you guys got to understand what I'm looking for this week, and I'll see you guys in the next video or on my Instagram. Have a good one, guys. Peace.